Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. So today we're going to be talking about making a farm account, an automatic diamond farm and resource farm, but you can also farm alongside it if you want. So you can have double action, farming resources as well as auto producing resources. So I know when the game, at this point in the game, especially when you get bigger, things are getting harder. You need a lot more resources, and realistically you're going to need farm accounts. You're going to need multiple farm accounts. Big accounts normally have like 10 to 15 farms because you need a lot of diamonds, you need a lot of resources, and it takes quite a lot of work to get diamonds. But the way that I'm going to show you how to do it today, guys, is actually going to save you a lot of time, a lot of money, and it's going to make your life a lot easier when it comes to fighting, when it comes to Gov War and any other event what requires you to have more resources. So let's get into the video, guys. Also, just quickly before we do get into the video, guys, make sure to get yourself some entries into Lotto King raffle right now. Promo code 5 free to get an extra 5 free when you get yourself a bundle. And also, we have exclusive content up on the left hand side. If you look at the Patreon, we have exclusive content from the Game on Stack Grind series, so go check that out. Click the join button, and thank you very much for supporting the channel. Right, let's get back into the farm. How do you do it? What do you do? Because there's a few different things that you have to do, guys, right, to get it to work perfectly. Because it's not as simple as just having one, right? There's a certain things you have to go through. There's certain areas what will benefit you more than others. So first of all, I say you want to have a level mansion 25 because it makes sense, because then you want to be able to upgrade your diamond labs up to level 25, right? And all the other areas. So when it comes to the vault, I'm not 100% on this. I don't know if you can leave this as 24. If you can, it will leave your diamonds unprotected. It means you can take all of them. Even if you don't and you upgrade it to 25, you will still be able to take everything other than 4 million. So it's always good to keep a little bit on there anyways, just to keep the account ticking. And I'll get into that shortly, because there are going to be things you need to invest in, things you need to grow. So the basis to me, you want to have a level 25 mansion. So you've got a level 25 mansion. And then it comes down to the buildings. The buildings are the main bit, because that's where you're going to get quite a lot of the productions from. Obviously, without the resource buildings, you're not going to make any resources, are you? So, first of all, you want to make all of these top buildings diamond labs. You want to get them up to level 25. You don't need to go any past that. You don't need to star them up, because you're not going to gain anything other than training speed. And you're not going to need that directly. So, you want to get them up to level 25. So, you gain an extra 662,400 of diamond capacity, as well as hourly production 4,875, right? So makes a big difference. So you want to do all them, so every single one, and you can see here what they do currently. So hourly diamond income 12,924, diamond turf diamond capacity 669k, and then production per hour, and then the capacity you have, right? So there's going to be ways to increase this, and this isn't a maxed out farm. This isn't finished. This is what's in progress at the moment. So this is what you can see right now, and as you can imagine, throughout the day that adds up. You know, even if you just do the production of that per hour for now, I'm not even halfway finished with just the buildings plus all the extra things. So we're going to get into that. So all of these top buildings here, you want to break them all down, dismantle them all, pay the 20 gold, break them all down. Don't do the demolish way you spend your time doing it, because it's not worth it, guys. So do the 20 gold, don't be stingy, and then rebuild all of it to be diamond labs, right? All of them, get them all up. They all need to be level 25. So you are going to need to, when you get to level 24, you're going to need to be able to upgrade them. So if I upgrade this one quickly, hold on, this one here, let's do this. So I'll show you quickly. So once we've got this one up, I'll just speed this one up. So once you get to level 24 to go to 25, you're going to need building permits. Building permits tend to cost gold, right? So you're going to need gold, but if you have an account and you've used it for a little bit, you could have enough cash shop points to buy them from here. And if not, as I said, you can go to inventory, go onto the broker, and then you can scroll down, I believe, and then there's building permits, 2,000 each. Or when you go on there, if you've got none, you can buy like a bulk of 10, and I think you save like 2,000, I think. So you can always have a look at that. But you're going to need gold to do that. So the best way to do that, in my opinion, is make sure you're in a faction where you're going to be getting faction gifts. You know, if the bigger the faction you get into, the better it's going to be for you. And also remember, you want to make sure you have a couple international relocators. So the farm you have might not be in the same city as your main, so you might have to do faction donations to get there. So that's kind of where you've got to sit with it. You know, you need to do your faction donations. You need to be in a faction to claim the gifts. And then once you get enough faction coins, you can then claim for international relocator and go from there. But the faction's key. The faction's key to growth, because all these resources I gained off faction members who helped me out. So I've got a little bit in the inventory, but not much. So if you can go to a faction that you know, what's even your farm faction, if it's big enough, and they can fill you up with resources, it helps massively, because there's going to be a lot of resources being used to upgrade. Because if you look at this one, for example, to upgrade from 24 to 25, 3.2 million cash, 5.4 million arms, 5.4 million cargo, and 4 million metal. So it adds up. So you're going to need a lot, especially if you're going to be changing all of these buildings around. And then we're going to move on to these, right? So these ones, if you're going to have, like for me, let's say our base minimum, I want 10 farms, right? So you could do 3 of each resources. So I'm not going to need cash because I've got 50 odd billion, but you might need cash, so you can make it to 2 per 1 or whatever. It all depends on how many you want, right? But let's say I'm going to go for 9 farms, right? Let's do that. So I could do 1. So all of them are going to be diamond farms. That's always going to be the basis. Diamond farm, diamond farm, diamond farm. So all of them will have diamonds, diamond labs. Then I will set all the buildings to 1 individual type. So I'll have 3 diamond farms with all the buildings as arms. And then next one will be cargo and metal. So I'll have 3 of each, and I'll have 9 in total. Which all 9 of these is going to be making me a boatload, and I mean a boatload of diamonds, as well as it's going to be making me a boatload of each resources that I need. So not only is this going to be making me diamonds and resources, it's also going to make my life a lot easier to help me not have to farm. So some people do this, right, and they make a diamond farm, and they still farm. And I get why. I understand why, because you can make even more. You can increase even more by farming on multiple accounts. But the truth is I don't have the time to sit there and farm all day long. And I'm assuming that you guys probably don't have the time either, right? So that's the whole point of a diamond farm and a farm account is, yes, you can farm, but I don't recommend it. I recommend just letting this do its thing if you follow the steps, because now we're going to go on to the next bit where we talk about investment center and equipment, specialties, things like that. So, but before we do that, I do want to say, so there's a couple options in regards to troops, right? Because some people say you can have troops, some people say you can't have troops, okay? So for a diamond farm, you've got a couple options, right? You can have enough troops where you can pull them all out and hide them, or you can not have troops at all, yeah? So it's kind of 50-50. So you can have enough troops where you can hide them, you have no troops, or if you have troops, you just transport the resources, because you can also transport the resources. And the way to lower the tax for you to transport the resources so you get as much as possible is you go to the black market and you want to upgrade that up to level 25. So as you can see here, transport tax. So when you get up to level 25, it goes all the way down to 8%. Yeah. And then if you start this one up, you can actually also gain 500,000 capacity. So moving forward, you know, that could be like a long-term goal of yours. But I wouldn't say it's something you should focus on straight away. Getting up to 25 definitely is if you're going to be transporting it. But take in mind, you do lose some if you transport, and also you do lose some if you hit. So either way, you're going to lose a little bit, but most normal way people do is transport, but it doesn't matter. You know, transport of it doesn't matter. Depends what you want to do. You do it however you want to do it, guys. And when it comes to resources, so as we saw with the diamonds, it's not worth starring up the diamond ones, right? Because all that does increases trading speed. But when it comes to resources like this, resource tiles, you should, because if you start these up, you will gain more production speed. Obviously, it's all over time, and you're not going to start much straight away. Your main focus is get them all up to level 25, but after the fact, that's when you want to start focusing on starring up these ones, because you can just get them from natural dailies. But the truth is once you've done your farms, I don't want you to be spending too much time on it, because you don't need to, because the way you set up is so it's automatic. It's just automatic. It just produces it. As you can see here, it says what it produces per hour, etc., etc. So it's just going to produce that. Okay, then when it hits the capacity, it's going to stop. So you're just going to hit it a couple times a day, whenever you want to hit it, once a day, twice a day. doesn't matter, you're going to get the resources from it. So let's move on to the next bit, investment center. All right, so there's some things that you can actually do to increase kind of your productivity, capacity, and things like that. So if we start first of all with economy, you want to do this one first, because if you look at this here, arms production 80%. So you want to kind of, you don't want to max this out, because it doesn't matter about maxing this one out, but it does matter about upgrading all these, because you want to make sure you're doing everything you can to get as much production as possible. Yeah. So when it comes to these, all you got to do is, as and where, you got to max out this one to then unlock these ones, right? So your choice is if you want to just max out metal. So let's say this diamond farm is going to be metal, which it is. I could just max out metal, or you can go through and do all of them slow and steady. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. Or you could go through, do metal, and then do all the other investments, then come back and start doing the rest. You know. So we'll move on to the next area. So start off with economy, and then you go down to equipment, wherever that is, equipment, and then you can see here you got diamond robbery. So if you're going to rob diamonds and you're actually going to rob resources, you can also increase your robbery speed with certain investments. Yeah. Or like I'm going to do, I'm just going to increase any productions. So I'm going to invest into diamond production like this one now, which is a plus 80%. And that does make a big difference overall, guys. So investments are going to be key. But take in mind, not all of these are going to be easy to do, and it's going to take a bit of time to kind of get there, right? So we've done that one. Let's have a look at luxury cars now. So luxury cars, as you can see here, diamond production could be another 40% diamond production for you. So luxury car, obviously you got to go through this bit first to get there, but once you've done that, you can then move on to there. So that's why I said you're going to need some resources. So even having that protection cap is good, because it saves you and allows you to keep moving forward and progressing and upgrading the account, because you might as well upgrade the account at the same time when you're popping on stuff like that. So diamond production from this one, and then another area, super weapons. As you can see here, you got cash production, arms production. So you want to get that. I don't think there's anything else on this one. No, just them two. So you do the first one, then you move down. You can do arms and cash production, and they are 40%, I think, not 30%, 30% of that and 30% of that. So arms and cash, an extra 30%. You can't see now. Family crystal is the next one. So as you can see here, we've got arms production, cargo production, and metal production. So very important. And then we move on to, so there's a few other areas, right? And I want you to take in mind, not all of these are supposed to be getting done straight away. So you've got City Hall. So you've got these up the top, but I'm not focused on them. I'm focused on the cash capacity, arms capacity, cargo capacity, and metal. So you do want to work on these ones. And then when you scroll down as well, you got another diamond capacity, which diamonds are the key you're on, right? That's what we want. So these are very valuable, because that will increase the capacity that they can hold. So this one right now, we can hold 6.4 million diamonds on each one of these, yeah? So when we max out all of them, and we get that extra production, you get it from City Hall. So that will allow you to add extra 30% cash capacity, cargo capacity, metal capacity, diamond capacity, cash capacity, all of them. It helps out massively for this section. It really, really does. And then we move on to the final one, is formation. And I know you're like, what, formation? Formation's got to do it? Yes. So at the top here, you can see expenditure, and then you've got transport. So this allows you to increase the transport speed. So if you're going to be transporting it back through the accounts, you can increase this to increase your transport by 30%, as well as robbery. If you want to do that, you can increase your robbery speed. You know, you can do it however you want. But when you scroll down even further, so you've got to go a little bit into this one. So it's not going to be the easiest, but you've got transport capacity. And this one's very important, because you can increase it by 1 million. So right now, my transport capacity is 3 million, which I can show you. Transport. So you can see my cap is 3 million. But once I would max out that from formation, oh, not that one, this one, I will have 4 million from 3 million, which that makes a lot less trips, obviously a lot less tax on it. You're just doing it all one, you know, less easy, quick. That's the whole point. It's meant to be quick and easy. So you can do that route. But as said, some of these, like, you don't have to do that one directly, you know, this one, because you can literally just hit the account instead of transporting it. Whatever you want to do with it. But there's many different ways to do it. They're the main investments that you need to focus on. And then when it comes to equipment, I've just done some brief here because take in mind, most of the equipment's kind of more for like robbing, but there are some which has production. And if you've got some like Godfather equipment and other equipment, some can add extra boost on. So have a check on what your account is and go from there. But this one, I've also set it up so if you're going to rob as well. So this one here, Architect Gun gives you robbery speed. The Architect Top gives you robbery speed, but also gives you diamond production. So yes, it can be very beneficial to also upgrade your Architect set to Grand to just increase that extra bit of production too. There's loads of different areas where you can get production. Then you got your pants, Architect, got cash production. If you need cash, that can work. I don't need cash, but you might, so it can help. Robbery speed, diamond production again, that's a pretty high one to be fair to you. And then there's nothing for the accessories. Also, the final area what you need to make sure you change is definitely going to be your specialties. So what I would recommend is it's a bit different for everybody, but if you're going to be, and this is just pure farm mode, so realistically, if you're going to do automated farm like me, I'm going to do exactly what I want. So I want diamonds, so I'm going to choose diamonds, and then I also want metal, so I will choose metal, and I'll max out the diamonds, and I'll max out the metal, and then I will also just put on anything extra I want as well. So if I've got any leftovers, like we will do, so I will then scroll down. I always do the big ones because they give you the most. So I'll max that one out, and then I'll put a little bit extra on there, and then that's me done, right? So if you want to put on robbery speeds and crew load capacity for robbing, you absolutely can. There's nothing wrong with that. I want these to be automated, so I will purely just be having these specialties on. And take in mind as well, I'm not going to go through to it on this video because I don't want it to be too long, but you can also go through the babes, and there's other ways to increase your production. But overall, that's the best way to actually build a diamond farm, to make an automatic diamond farm, as well as other resources. You can just hit it twice a day or transport them once a day or whenever you want to do it or whenever you need resources. The more you've got, the more you're going to make. So think about farming resources and never, ever, ever buy resources, guys. It's not safe. Please do not do it. And make sure to check out Lot King Raffle. If you like the video, make sure to comment down below, smash subscribe, click the join button, and go ball.